My name is Ciara Johnson, and I, along with my partner, Zach Sexton, were given the design challenge of enhancing the freshman experience. So our design brief to reimagine the student orientation experience through a transmedia student-led approach that can be replicable at other schools. What we found through design thinking strategies and through the research we did at Ball State's campus is that the lack of student engagement during the orientation process makes it difficult for students to learn and explore the campus and its available resources. For freshmen at Ball State, they go online and they're able to see that orientation is a time when new freshmen and transfer students will register for their classes, get their Cardinal card, and prepare to be a Cardinal. What we found was that this isn't enough for freshmen who are entering a new space and trying to get acclimated to a new environment. So meet Chase. He is a high school graduate. He's a varsity soccer player from Dayton, Ohio, and he's coming to Ball State University to study exercise science. He's eager to be a student, to learn how college is, to learn what college is all about, and he's also ready to meet other students. And from that statement that students see during their first exposure to Ball State, just learning how to be a Cardinal and getting their Cardinal card isn't enough. So some of our key findings that we discovered through research with these design thinking strategies, we were able to group into 4 categories. So one of those categories were learning styles. We learned that freshman students have a certain type of way that they need to learn when they're in a new environment. And so students prefer small amounts of information to be given to them over time. One quote from the research that we did said, "Giving too much information at once and being seated in long periods of time is something that students do not like when they're being oriented to a new space." Also, one of our key findings was social interaction. So students did not like being involuntarily asked or pushed to do a social participation. So something like icebreakers when they're in small groups, they didn't like those things. Another key finding that we were able to group into a category was tools for success. So in order for students to feel like they can be successful in a new space, they need to have some sort of preparation. They wanted a form of guidance and some type of positive reinforcement. So participants said people go stiff when they're introduced to a new space, when they're unfamiliar with the flow of action and how things go, which means they need some type of preparation while they're participating in these activities at orientation, so they can feel like they're ready to start college. Positive reinforcement, one participant said that knowing someone takes the effort to say that you're appreciated, and it gives them a chance to be incentivized. And then finally, the form of guidance, they had no indication of what the limitations were or their boundaries when they came to orientation because it wasn't really discussed. And then finally, student engagement. So students need certain things to be engaged when they're in a new space. They wanted the incorporation of new media into an orientation experience. So anything dealing with pictures, videos, or posts about their experience. And then they wanted some form of interaction, so with the speakers at orientation or with other students. So after putting together all of these key findings that we got from our research, and we did saturating group sessions, we had them do prototyping sessions and build. These were the requirements, the must-haves, and the constraints for whatever solution they chose. They would have to follow these things based on our research. And so what the solution needed to do was connect incoming freshmen to other students, provide academic preparation before or during orientation. It needed to have some type of reward system and give students multiple options for orientation programs. Then it must have exploration of Ball State University's campus and integrate digital media as an opportunity for students to engage with others. And then finally, it couldn't have any type of forced interaction, so such as icebreakers that students expressed they did not like. It can't require more than 50-minute periods of time being spent in one place, which is usually the amount of time students sit in a class during freshman year. It's a 50-minute class period. And then it also must not contain any content focused on the history of BSU. Students said they need something that will prepare them on how to be a student. So they need something that's going to talk more about classes. So, like I said, we did some prototyping sessions with students and all other stakeholders of orientation, so administrators, RAs, and we were able to begin with low fidelity prototyping sessions. And so these are two pictures of the prototypes students were able to come up with our first prototyping session. The one on the left pretty much shows the student being guided through campus in small groups. So there is a campus helper here, a campus helper there, and a campus helper at the top. And they're basically guiding students, kind of like the tours that they already do at Ball State, but guiding them during the orientation experience so they can know what buildings are where and get familiar with the resources. The second picture is a picture of students at a hall at Ball State, and there's someone pretty much telling them what resources are offered at Ball State University, and they're pretty much giving them out maps so they can know how to get around. The next low fidelity prototyping session there were students talking about being incentivized with prizes during a information session at orientation. They said that that would make them feel more inclined to participate if they were able to get something out of it. And then the one on the right was another low fidelity prototyping session that we done. And it was an app that someone was saying they could organize their classes basically and know when each class is happening. So out of all of these low fidelity prototyping sessions, this is what we found. Students want to be engaged, they want to have an opportunity to explore the campus, they want to have some type of guide, but they want it to be social and they want to be able to connect with other students. And through this, they'd be able to get the resources of the university, they have that preparation, they feel like it was a more organic learning experience, and they will get rewards and incentives for it. So those answers and those findings kind of informed our next prototyping session, because we took those things and pretty much told students what we were looking for, and we were able to have it more defined. So from this mid fidelity prototyping session, we were able to pull those things from the low fidelity prototyping session and find out that the app idea was something that students really connected with. So they wanted something that they can do digitally and not necessarily have to do while they're on campus. And this would go along with the requirement that we had too for students wanting to have multiple options for orientation. So this person, during the mid-fidelity prototyping session, showed the progression of a web app, and it basically has a countdown of when orientation starts, and it tells students about resources and other buildings on campus. So this would integrate the preparation, multiple options, having some type of social interaction. It was promoting learning for students, and then it kind of gave them that little bit of what to do to be engaged and how you can be successful at Ball State. During another mid-fidelity prototyping session, another student had a similar idea of having some type of tour of Ball State. So this also comes from the beginning where we did the low fidelity prototyping sessions and students wanted some type of guide throughout the campus. So she showed kind of like a web app, but it's also a game. There was a leaderboard, there were points, and students would basically compete against each other to find out who can see the most buildings. And so this one promoted rewards, resources, students customizing their own experience, and it also hinted on the engagement and success. So through these prototyping sessions that we did and the key findings that we found during the research, they informed our final prototype, which was College Conquest. Now, College Conquest is an application that would allow students to complete required tasks that they need to do for orientation, and they can tailor their experience through their own social learning. So each task that is on College Conquest would have either a digital module that they would have to complete or a physical exploration once they get to campus. And so the completion of each of the tasks would give students points, and it would place each student in a leaderboard, which would allow them to receive prizes for certain accomplishments that they make after the semester is over. And so here is a general look at College Conquest and what the app would look like. So the first screen is just a screen of someone entering their login information. The second screen just kind of shows the process of registering for an account. And then the third screen is just the interface of the app. You see what's available on there, so a map, there are videos, tasks, a leaderboard, a social tab, and then information about the app. These next three screens are just screens of the map, so students can navigate through campus, figure out which buildings are where, and then there are videos that kind of tell them what to expect during the orientation experience, and there are also videos of each of the resources on campus. And so the sixth screen kind of shows the run through of a task, and I'll talk more about that here in a second. And so the next screens are the leaderboards, their profile that they can change to be able to meet up with friends. And then they have a complete task screen, which is where they would enter a code or scan a QR code that is on site, and then they can show that they've completed the task. And so here's a closer look at one of the tasks on the app. So one of the resources at Ball State is the Office of Student Life. It has the location, which is the student center, and then the purpose for that resource, which is to house student organizations, programs, and services. So then you'll come to the task list where there will be the digital modules that students can take advantage of before orientation, and then there will be the physical exploration. So for the digital modules, students can tour BennyLink and then take a quiz afterwards so it can assess how much they know about that resource. And then they could also read university policies for different things in the student center that they would need to know before they even get to school. And then for the physical exploration, these are the things that they'd be able to earn points on and get on the leaderboard. So attending a meeting held by their favorite student organization, participating in an event that's hosted by a group in the Big Four. So that can be the Black Student Association, the Asian Student Association, Spectrum, or the Latino Student Union. And those are the biggest groups that we have on campus. And then we can have them go to the party at late night, volunteer with SVS, or go with friends to Friday Night Filmworks. And so from our usability testing, when we got these findings and we figured out what our final prototype would be, users pretty much said that they really liked the app. They said it gave them a better idea of what to do for orientation, and they said the interface was easy to understand. Some weaknesses they found, though, was that the QR code seems a little bit complicated, and they wanted to make sure, how do you keep students from cheating and sharing codes? So moving forward, those are two things that we'll really work to address. So the way that we would measure this is through engagement, learning, and exploration. So we want to see how many students take advantage of the mobile app. We want to assess them with a quiz by the end of the semester to see if they really learned more about the campus through the app. And then we want to do semi-structured interviews to gauge exploration and how many students were able to better navigate the campus after their first year. So you're wondering if this is an optimal solution, and we feel like College Conquest definitely is. It gamifies orientation through peer competition and incentives. It provides a safe platform for students to meet one another. They can connect with other students and campus resources that are critical to their success freshman year. And they can kind of learn at their own pace. And so we feel like to reimagine the student orientation experience at Ball State, College Conquest is the perfect thing. This web application would allow them to personalize the orientation experience, and they can do so through a guided learning. And this is also something that other schools should definitely take